Hello Star Trek Fleet Commanders, Tiberius here, back with another video. Today we're going to do a quick lesson on base raiding, uh, attacking other players' bases, why do we do this, how do we do this, and what are the benefits and rewards for doing this. We'll start with the first question, which is how do we do this? So there is a handy little chart. If you're lower than level 15, you can't attack player bases yet, and conversely, you can't be attacked by anyone else, so your base is safe. After level 15, there's kind of a sliding scale. Usually, you have to be within 2 levels of the person you're attacking until you get to level 20. Then it kind of changes and jumps up a little bit, so you still have to be on the bottom end. So at 20, you can attack and be attacked by level 18s, but instead of being at 22, it goes up to 24. And then at 21, you can go down to 19, but up to 27, and vice versa. So as you start to get up 22, 23, 24, your min here, still stays at 20, but now you can start being attacked by higher level people, which really emphasizes the point of when you're not around, make sure you have your shields up. Otherwise, you're going to log back in and very likely find that all of your resources have been stolen by one of these 27 to 33 level players. I'll leave that up there just for a second so you can get a good look at it. So yeah, I'm level, I just got to level 26, which means I can only attack 21s as low as 21, but 39s can attack me. These are guys who have 10 million strength ships at level, in the high 30s here. Not really anything I can do about that to defend myself against that, except keep my shields up. And we'll show you a little bit about that. So looking around at the other bases in my system right now, these 20s I would not be able to attack. This 21 I could. This 22 and 23 over here would also be targets, but as you can see, they have their shields up, whereas this level 21 does not. If you have a shield up and you attack someone, your shield drops. So you can't hide behind it. You make yourself vulnerable to being attacked as well. So you're attacking somebody, you can't be protected by it. You can attack somebody and then quick throw a shield up afterwards if you want to try and protect yourself that way. And you'll see a lot of people do that. They'll attack a base, hit it a few times, get their resources, and then quick throw a shield up before anybody else shows up. And you do want to try and do this as quickly and as organized as you can, because the longer it takes you, the more likely it is that either the player is going to log in and save themselves, whether they get an alert on their phone or their device, and they quick log in and throw up a defense shield, or someone in their alliance notices that they're being attacked and says, hey, Joey's getting attacked, and then they send some people come to help out and try and kill your cargo ships. So there's that. Now, when you're looking for a base to attack, there's a couple of key things to look for, other than it not being shielded. First off, are they in an alliance? Anybody not in an alliance is a lot easier of a target. They've also probably likely been hit a lot more often, so you won't have the huge resources usually available, versus taking out a player who's in an alliance who's more active. They're going to accumulate more resources usually to keep up with the other members of their alliance. But they're also a low risk, low reward target. Good way to start out, get your feet wet on the mechanics. And if it goes back into that why question, why do we do this? To get resources. This player currently has available 25,000 tritanium, 300,000 parsteel, and 16,000 dilithium. Not very good resources in terms of what it's going to enable you to build, but it's a little bit of something, and again, low risk, low reward. Sometimes you see people who have millions of resources available. They fell asleep, their spouse called them and said, hey, I need you to go take care of this, and they're like, oh crap, all right, I'll be back in 10 15 minutes. What are the chances I'm going to get hit during that time? Well, if you happen to catch somebody at the right time, catch them napping, the rewards can be pretty strong. Now, I'm sure there are a few of you watching this who go, oh, but that's so mean. They worked so hard to get all these resources, and we're just going to go ahead and steal them. And that's fine. If this isn't an area of the game that you personally feel comfortable with, It's an optional part of the game. It does speed things up for you because you do get larger quantities of resources faster than you can mine them, and there aren't always missions or events that are available. So it is another alternative. The other thing to keep in mind too is that there are a good number of players in this game who don't play it anymore. They're basically zombies. So it's not like this guy's accumulated this stuff. I mean, we looked at this particular player here, not in an alliance, and if we scan his base, if he had any ships, they would be listed here. They're not. This tells me that his ships have previously been destroyed, and he's never manually logged into the game to click the button to rebuild them. While the defense platforms will regenerate by themselves automatically over time, and the generators will keep running to produce the resources to do that, ships have to manually be clicked on to repair them, to queue up which ones you want to repair in which order. Somebody here with no ships, either they're all deployed and they're out doing something, or they're all destroyed and nobody's logged in to check. So this is probably a guy who quit playing the game, and this is now just essentially a farm. So you don't have to worry about feeling bad about stealing something from somebody because, think of it like all those zombie apocalypse movies, right? Like The Walking Dead or something like that. You're walking through a neighborhood and you see a house and you just go knock to see if anybody's home, and you're like, oh, look, well, nobody's here. Let me help myself to what's in the fridge. That's kind of where we're at. It's not like you're walking into somebody's house now and trying to do that and they're still living there. This is basically abandoned. Again, low rewards, but this is where you would check that out. The other thing to consider, obviously, you've got the total strength of the base. Your ship should be higher than it if you're going to attack it. You can also click directly on it, and then you can see some more info about the station defenses, what its shield rating is, and the health of the hull of the defense platforms. So this guy has 3 defense platforms. He's previously been attacked recently because like I said, these regenerate over time, and it's only about halfway regenerated. So somebody's recently attacked him, which makes sense. I'm sure if people come by and farm this guy every 2 or 3 days, his stations are running, his generators are running. He's building up some resources, which are going to be over the capacity of his vaults to protect. And you're just going to come by and just whittle them down. So you'll need a ship that's capable of defeating that. You can do it in 2 or 3 tries if you need to. Just remember, your damage bill and your repair bill. Make sure your repair bill, if your ship is destroyed, is going to make it worth it, the resources you're going to get. If you're going to lose 50,000, tritanium and 20,000 dilithium attacking this base because it's going to destroy you the first time, and then you're going to come back a second time, and you're going to have to use speed ups to boost your repair time because it's like an hour or 2 hours long. This would not be worth it. The return on the investment isn't worth the repair cost. It's actually a losing proposition for you. If it's an easy target like this where you're not going to suffer too great of losses, then it might be worth it. Now, when you attack a base that's unshielded, the game has a built-in feature, mechanic, safety net, if you will, that puts up a 10-minute defense shield for that player. Now, that 10-minute shield can only be triggered once. I believe it's every 2 hours. I've heard 90 minutes. I've heard 2 hours. 2 hours seems to make more sense, I would think. So you attack the base. The game automatically throws up a 10-minute timer. We'll go attack this guy here. And there's the shield going up. So that's going to put up the 10-minute timer. We'll look and see what we got. So like we said, it should be mostly par steel with a little bit of dilithium and tritanium. So I got 2,000 tritanium, 100 dilithium, 35,000 par steel. Looking at what my repair bill is going to be, probably not going to be worth it. But it's a good demonstration point. And eventually my guy will go back to base. We can go look at our... Oh, I guess I'm lagging a little bit. bugged out a little bit. See if I change screens, if that helps fix it. Sometimes that refreshes it. I apologize. Apparently, we're being a little buggy right now. Unfortunately, this does happen using the emulator because it just has a slower connection sometimes. Yeah, there's the low connection warning. Doesn't even give you the report yet. Can't even look at the battle report. Well, this is just embarrassing. All right. Well, while that's working, we'll talk a little bit more about the other thing to prepare for. Um, Now, this 10-minute timer started. Once that 10-minute timer gets to 0, this temporary shield will drop unless the player has logged in and put up a more permanent shield. If they do that, at the end of your 10 minutes, you'll notice that they're still shielded. They may even message you and be like, hey, what's up? Just to give you an idea, like, hey, they're online and they're going to respond to your attacks. Again, a soft target like this, very unlikely that that's going to happen. Once you've taken down the base's defenses, we go back in here and we click on the base, and we can see now this skull and that these are all destroyed. Once you've taken down the base's defenses, now again, this will slowly start to repair, and it will repair during that 10-minute period. So usually your follow-up also needs to be at least a decently strong ship to take out the defenses again after the 10-minute timer before you send in your mining ships, your survey ships to mop up. So like this ship only has a 30,000 capacity. There we go. All right, so he's back. And what's my repair bill? I guess it's not ready yet. All right, still lagging. So once you've weakened the defenses, that's where you'll send in your mining ships because they have a much higher capacity and they can go ahead and take the big chunk of those resources a lot more quickly, a lot faster. And if we look at our survey ship here, you'll see that Stan is one of the people I have on board. He's got a great officer ability called Pack Rat, which increases the cargo size of the ship by 25%. The other guy who also does that is Joaquin, who's one of Khan's people. He's out mining right now, one of my other ships, but it might just let me get a peek at him whenever I find him. Did I go past him? No, there he is. He's on ship C. You can get info on him. He also has this thing called fire protection, firewall protection. He increases the protected cargo of the ship by 100%. So he's going to increase your protected, not so much your max capacity. Same thing with T'Pring as well. She also increases your... no, it's thinking that I want to swap them. Oops. She has hidden stash, which also increases the protected cargo. Again, not as big a deal. If you are actively involved in a raid, like you're attacking the base and stealing stuff, and their alliance members are helping them, and there's probably a good chance that they're going to pick off your miners before they make it back to your base after you've looted some of the stuff, then having a higher protected cargo is helpful in those situations because it means that when they destroy your mining ships, you're going to get a bigger chunk of the resources that you've just stolen. So this guy gives you more capacity, and she helps give you more protected cargo. So currently right now, I think the ship has like 17,000 protected cargo. I think that's where we're at with these guys. Yeah, protected cargo 17,000. Max cargo capacity 180,000. Different ships have different cargo capacities, again, depending on the ship, the tier, and the officers on board. Yeah, it's still lagging on that. It's not going to let me repair. See if I can at least view my battle log yet. Nope, not going to let me do that either. Okay. But so if I were attacking this base, once the 10-minute timer is up, I would send in my attack ship again, make sure I clean out all the defenses completely. That way my miner can just go in and mop it up, and then probably I would switch this ship on the second run to another miner and then just send like 2 miners in. If they have a lot of resources, you'll use all three, as many ships as you have, and you'll want to be as quick as you can. Some people relocate their base right next to somebody, so they make the trip a lot shorter to just go in and out. For smaller targets like this, where you're not stealing a whole lot of resources, or it's an inactive player, and you're really not that concerned about them logging in, and time isn't as big of a priority, maybe you save your relocation token and just make some trips back and forth. Like if I found someone on the other side of the system or something like that, where it's going to take me 20 or 30 seconds to fly back and forth each side, like somebody over here. Here we go. Like there's nobody over here, but like this 21 or something like that. That might be like a 30-second trip. So take me 30 seconds each way. That's probably not too bad. If they had like 10 million resources and I wanted to be quick like bunny, I'd relocate my base to this system, park right next to them, and then I'm just flying back and forth here. It also makes it harder to be intercepted by other people's alliances and things like that, if the distance between them is much shorter. By the time they see your ship come out, your ship's already attacking the base, and then when they try and click on it to attack it, your guy's already on his way back. So decreases your ability of getting destroyed. It's not always a requirement. It's not always necessary. Again, if you're hitting some softer targets, which I think are good places to start and practice on, finding some of these alliance-less AFK players, inactive players, and just kind of getting a feel for the mechanics and just picking up some minimal resources just to get yourself going again. I wish it would show me the timer. You can see if you go into your battle reports, it tells you how long ago it is. So it'll tell you, oh hey, it's been 9 minutes, and then you're like, okay, great. That means in a minute from now, that base is going to be vulnerable again. So you get your ships rolling, get them moving there, so they're standing by outside, ready and waiting, repaired. It's not going to let me do it. What if I go out to the galaxy and then go back in? Nah, it's not going to let me do it. This emulator's kind of logged out again. What if I leave and then recall? Yeah, it thinks it's already doing it. Still protected. I think it's been about 8 or 9 minutes. We'll do another quick scan. Defenses still look to be destroyed. But yes, at this point I would send in my miner. I would send in my warship, clear the defenses one more time, and then send in a miner. Now, there's two schools of thought for how to attack bases. When you're dealing with the 10-minute shield, what a lot of players will do is they will just send in the lowest level ship they have, basically just to ring the doorbell, see if anybody's home. So they'll use a Rialta or a low level, ship that they have. Maybe they just crafted a level 1 ship that's going to cost. See, his shield's just dropped again, so I can tell that there's nobody there. So I can we'll send my other miner in to attack and see what he can get. If it wants to work. So you pick the weakest ship you have, you send that to ring the doorbell, get that 10-minute shield working. It gets destroyed pretty easily, but it costs you next to nothing to repair. Then you wait for the 10-minute shield to drop, you send in your big ship, clear the defenses out, and then immediately attack right behind it with the miners and start grabbing all the resources and run and clear it out. Some other people like to make sure you take the defenses down with that first shot, especially if they have other starships uh, in their bases. Because if you can hit 2 or 3 ships and take them all out at the same time, like if he had, like an envoy and a Findra and a Tala all parked here, I send in my bigger ship. I wipe all 3 of those out. That's going to cost him a lot of time to repair those, or he's going to have to waste speed ups to repair those. Um, he can only repair 1 ship at a time, um, which again takes time and takes resources and lowers the overall defense of the base by a lot more. So some people are like, they're going in, swinging for the fences with the big guns right off the bat, just going to crash all the defenses down to the bare minimum and go on from there. And other people like to just do the ring and run method. You just ring the doorbell with the cheapest guy you got. If he gets destroyed, who cares? It only costs you like 200, for your little Rialta to get in there and attack. And then you find out the guy's home, and you're just like, oh, okay, great. He's online. He's playing. I'll just move on to the next house. But if that 10-minute shield goes down, then and you really haven't lost anything. So you don't have to worry about, if this was like a 600,000K base and I'm going to send in my big gun, I'm going to take a lot of damage. I might not get a lot of resources because I can only hold 38,000. So if I get a bunch of par steel and some tritanium, I've taken a huge repair bill for all that damage. It might cost me 40 or 50,000 tritanium plus some dilithium to repair. And then the time, of course, to also repair. I'm going to have to use repair speed ups and things like that as well, which you'll have to keep in mind if you're attacking more active targets and they're engaging and there's battles going on. Yeah, you will have to use repair speed ups and things to make sure you can keep quick hitting and getting your ships in and out of their base. But that's more of an advanced rating thing. For the beginners, I definitely recommend just finding some of these no alliance, no shields guys who are right around your level, within a level or two, and just focus on those just to get the mechanics down. And then as you get more comfortable with it, you can move on to some more advanced targets. I hope that answers your basic questions about base rating. Thank you guys very much for watching, and stay safe out there.